What if the saddest monster in Fright Night wasn't a monster at all? And what if Evil Ed's vampire curse didn't start with a bite, but with a lifetime of being ignored? Tonight, we're digging into one of the most tragic and misunderstood vampires in 80s horror, Evil Ed from Fright Night. The outcast kid, the one with the weird laugh, the friend who just wanted someone to stay by his side, until a certain vampire offered him exactly that. But here's the twist. Ed's story doesn't end where the movie says it does, and the truth behind his transformation is a lot darker than you remember. Let's break open the whole thing. His origins, how Jerry Dandrige turned him, what really happened in that heartbreaking wolf scene, and the hidden hints that Evil Ed might not be as dead as we think. Before the fangs, before the wolf, before the tragic fall, Ed Thompson was just a kid who didn't fit anywhere. He wasn't evil. He wasn't dangerous. He wasn't even trying to be funny. He was lonely. Everyone called him evil because he was weird and dark and didn't act like the other kids in Rancho Corvallis. His jokes were offbeat. His laugh was strange. And let's be honest, Charlie Brewster was probably the only real friend he ever had. And that friendship, it wasn't balanced. Not even close. Ed wanted connection. Charlie wanted normal. And to Amy. And suddenly, Ed drops to second place in the only friendship he had. Ed wasn't just an outsider. He was a kid carrying a secret in a town that would never understand him. And that makes his fall into vampirism hit a lot harder. When the killings began around town, Ed didn't panic. He didn't run. He didn't act like a normal teenager who's scared for his life. He lit up. Because for once, the world felt like him. Dark, strange, morbid, unpredictable. So when Charlie starts saying, "My neighbor is a vampire," Ed laughs it off. Not because he doesn't believe it, but because no one ever listens to Charlie. So why would anyone listen to Ed? Amy pulls him in to help prove Charlie wrong. That says a lot. It means even Amy, who didn't like him, thought Ed could help. Ed loved it. Someone needed him again. But that moment doesn't last long. Jerry doesn't chase Ed. He doesn't force him. He doesn't even threaten him. He comforts him. There's a scene many people forget. Ed is walking alone at night, terrified. He hears something in the dark. He starts to panic. And then Jerry appears like a shadow with a pulse. Not hunting him, not stalking him, but talking to him. Telling him he doesn't have to be afraid. Telling him he doesn't have to be alone anymore. Telling him he'll never be called evil again for a kid like Ed. That wasn't temptation. That was rescue. The bite wasn't a curse. It was the first time in his life someone reached out and said, "You belong with me." That single scene explains everything that happens next. Once the transformation begins, Ed's personality doesn't disappear. It intensifies. He becomes sharper, crueler, more confident. Like everything he suppressed finally broke open. Jerry gives him one command: kill Peter Vincent. And Ed does something no vampire in Fright Night had ever tried before. He uses his emotions. He plays the scared kid. He tricks Peter into opening the door. He uses his old life like a weapon. But then the moment flips. He shows Peter the bite marks. He mocks him for being a fake. He bears the fangs. He becomes everything he never could be as a human. But behind the laughter, you can still hear the hurt. Here's the challenge most viewers miss. Ed is the only character in the whole movie who transforms into a wolf. This isn't random, it's symbolic. Wolves are pack animals. They don't survive alone. Ed's wolf form is his pain bleeding through, the monster he becomes when he's trying to prove he's not just someone's punching bag. But this form is also his weakness, because when Peter Vincent stabs him, the wolf doesn't die first. Ed does, and that's when we hit the darkest moment in the film. Ed's death scene isn't scary. It's not even really violent. It's tragic. As he transforms back into human form, he reaches out his hand, the same kid who just wanted one friend, and Peter Vincent, in tears, pulls away. Ed dies on the floor crying. No screams, no threats, just a broken kid who trusted the wrong person. And when the cross scar on his forehead disappears, that's it. The movie tells us he's dead. But only the movie, because Fright Night doesn't end there. The movie closes with one of the most legendary horror teasers ever put on film. Charlie turns off his TV. He looks toward Jerry's old house. Two red eyes stare back at him. Then, the laugh. That horrible, iconic laugh.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster!
So what does that mean? Jerry's curse didn't break and Ed wasn't fully dead. And after the movies, Ed comes back as a full vampire antagonist. Evil Ed survives. He evolves. He becomes one of the main threats. Once Ed rises again, he blames Charlie and Peter Vincent for abandoning him. He becomes obsessed with revenge. He stalks Charlie like a twisted ex-friend. He tries turning new victims to build his own vampire circle. But here's the darkest turn. Ed keeps his sense of humor, but loses the last pieces of innocence he had. His laugh is harsher, his attacks more personal. He taunts his victims like he's performing for an audience only he can see. He is no longer the bullied kid. He becomes a predator who likes being the villain. He battles Peter Vincent multiple times. He survives several attempts at being killed. He joins forces with other stronger vampires. He becomes one of the core, ongoing antagonists in the Fright Night universe. He even learns new abilities, including illusions and shape-shifting. Evil Ed isn't just the comic relief of Fright Night. He's the beating heart of the whole tragedy. A kid who was ignored, mocked, pushed aside, and finally loved by the worst thing that ever walked into his life. His death hits harder when you understand where he came from. And his possible return? That's what turns a goofy vampire sidekick into one of the most haunting stories in 80s horror. Watch the next video, The Truth Behind Jerry Dandrige's Vampire Origins.